Welcome to our technology showcase on Wooclap. Our showcase comprises of various parts. First, we will start with this presentation, then we will have a demo video to highlight the functionalities of this tool from both the teacher's perspective and the students, and finally there will be a feedback form for you to complete to help us improve our showcase. The topics that we will be covering in this presentation are: what is Wooclap? We will provide a description of Wooclap and a high-level overview of its main functionalities. How does it facilitate distance education? In other words, how does it operate within the frameworks of distance education? What learning theories support it? And what links does it have to any theories of distance education? Finally, we will discuss how well Wooclap ranks as an e-learning tool for higher education by evaluating it according to the EDUC rubric. What is Wooclap? Here, we will discuss what it is, what it does, and how it works. Wooclap is an innovative platform designed to captivate the audience. How does it do this? For one, instead of stepping away from using mobile devices in the classroom, it embraces them to enhance the learning experience. Whether it is in a traditional face-to-face classroom, a hybrid classroom, an online synchronous course, or even a massive open online asynchronous course, this platform provides the capabilities to boost student engagement. What can Wooclap do? Well, it can boost lectures to increase student engagement. It measures the understanding of learners in real time. It can stimulate student participation and motivate learners. It improves learning and collaboration. It allows students to also participate in discussion via SMS texts. And it provides the capacity for both synchronous and asynchronous learning. How does Wooclap work? Well, it is a very intuitive and easy to navigate application. It only requires a few steps to implement and transform the way teachers communicate with learners. First, you log in. If you don't have one, you can create one for a free version. It should also be noted that students don't necessarily need to have an account with Wooclap to participate in the interactive activities. Next, create an event. This can be the name of your exercise, unit, or module. Then, you will select a question type from the list of 17 templates to set up the learning activity. For example, it can be a multiple choice question, an open-ended question, a matching exercise, a brainstorming activity, watching a video, or inserting questions into your presentation. Next, you will execute the question. This means either populating the answers or setting up the parameters of the activity. Then you will assign a code. This is the code students will use to access the activities. Then you will share the link and code with your students. They can also use this code to access asynchronous material. Then, collect the answers in real time to dynamically adapt the content of the course based on those answers. And finally, watch awesome learning take place. So the big question in this presentation is, can Wooclap facilitate distance education? The answer is yes, absolutely, of course. Many of Wooclap's features can be used in a distance learning setting both synchronously and asynchronously. To facilitate distance education, Wooclap provides the functionality to easily and seamlessly integrate its plugins to work with Microsoft Teams. This enables educators to use both Wooclap and Teams simultaneously without having to juggle both platforms. Microsoft PowerPoint, this allows you to insert real-time interactions into your presentation. However, there is a limitation. This feature only works with a subscription version of PowerPoint, such as with Office 365. The workaround is that you are able to upload your presentation into Wooclap and then insert into your questions. Google Slides. Similar to PowerPoint, you can install the plugin or extension to your browser, or you can add your presentation to Wooclap. There is no limitation associated with Google Slides. Zoom. The Wooclap app is already included in the list of apps in Zoom. All you would have to do is select it and add it to include it into your own list of apps. This integration gives access to Wooclap questions directly from the Zoom interface. Therefore, while a class is being conducted remotely, Wooclap functions can be accessed and used to increase student engagement and formative assessment. Learning management systems. This integration allows educators to create quizzes and Wooclap learning activities from within their LMS, and it also easily synchronizes student results between the two platforms. I just wanted to note that in this showcase, we're also going to include a document that will provide resources or guide you towards resources that provide more information on how these plugins work and what type of specific capabilities they offer. As mentioned before, Wooclap contains many features that support and enhance synchronous and asynchronous distance learning. During online synchronous classes, it is able to maintain interaction between teachers and students. Some features that facilitate this are authentication. When enabled, this feature allows educators to see how many people are following the lecture. They are also able to see who is participating in the course. However, students do have the option to remain anonymous. Next, we have the I'm confused button. If at any time a student requires more clarification, they can select the option from their device to notify the instructor, who will then receive real-time notifications. Wall of messages. Once enabled, this activates a message board where students can send in their questions or comments. Students are able to like each other's questions or comments, and the instructor is able to prioritize them. Display slides on students' devices. This feature allows educators to show slides on participants' devices in both real time and or asynchronously. The participant pace is a feature that enables educators to create questionnaires and learning activities for students to complete at their own pace. It also provides a repository for where instructors can upload documents, videos, and any other learning material that can be accessed at any time by students. From our lectures, discussions, and readings, we know that one of the biggest challenges of remote learning is to maintain and increase student engagement and to provide effective formative assessment. From one of our readings, we also learned that there is a list of strategies that should be used to promote successful online courses. Taken from the UTA Open Press book, these include creating lessons that focus more on active engagement and less on passive consumption, utilizing network learning and interactive activities, listening to and responding promptly to learners' concerns, clear communication for all aspects of the course. We also know from this chapter that there are 12 types of communication that have been identified that can happen in education, such as student-teacher, student-student, student content, student interface, learner group, and teacher group. The whole premise of Wooclap is to provide the mechanisms to increase student engagement and to provide feedback. As discussed in the earlier slides, the plugins, the synchronous and asynchronous features, they all work together to achieve the criteria set by the framework of distance education and to facilitate the channels of communications between the different players of the learning environment. What learning theories can be linked to Wooclap? There's the nudge theory. Nudges are actions which aims to guide our decisions and facilitate our behavior changes. In the context of Wooclap, there was an example given to automatically insert a quiz frame for every 5 slides with the purpose of forcing the instructor to analyze whether it would be beneficial to launch an interactive activity at this point to expand upon the lesson or to provide an opportunity for formative assessment. Nudge theory is also supported by Wooclap features because it provides the ability to nudge students to think of what they've learned in a certain way. For example, after a concept has been introduced, the instructor can use the open question or word cloud feature to initiate and guide a discussion. Active learning theory. The idea behind active learning theory is that learners learn by doing. This promotes the idea of participating in one's learning rather than passively listening to the lectures. Examples of active learning that are facilitated by Wooclap are working on projects in small groups. By providing plugins for platforms such as Zoom and Moodle, remote learning classes can use the technologies of Wooclap to brainstorm, discuss, and work on group projects. Finally, there's gamification. Gamification in education essentially means that game design elements are being applied to an educational setting. There is the idea that we learn best when we play, and that is due to certain elements of gaming that make it so effective for learning. For example, game mechanics encourage teamwork and competition that naturally encourage learners to interact with each other, which reinforce learning. Another element is active cognition. Well-designed puzzles and challenges engage multiple cognitive faculties in learners that promote information retention. Wooclap has a competition mode that facilitates the creation of competitive or gamified challenges. Finally, how would we rate Wooclap? In a nutshell, we'd give it 2 thumbs up. Evaluating Wooclap according to EDUC's rubric for e-learning tools for higher education, the application ranked fairly well. The pros: functional and ease of use. The application has a user interface that is intuitive and easy to navigate. Scale: this application has the capacity to be scaled to accommodate any class size. Technical capabilities: Wooclap can be easily integrated into remote learning platforms such as Zoom and Teams, and it can synchronize well with learning management systems and is compatible with virtually any device such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops. Mobile device: this app is designed very well that it can be used easily and interchangeably with non-mobile devices. Privacy, data protection, and rights: users can keep data private. Users can also archive, save, or import-export content. Social presence: Wooclap has the capacity to support a community of learning through both synchronous and asynchronous opportunities. It also facilitates collaboration and interaction among students. Teaching presence: teachers are able to gain feedback on student understanding, and Wooclap provides a channel for students to express any concern or confusion during their learning experience. Cognitive presence: it enhances engagement with targeted cognitive tasks. It also promotes or exercises higher order thinking and provides the opportunity for formative feedback. The major con, I would say, is that it has limited accessibility for diverse users, literacies, and capabilities. And another one to point out is that in order to use its full capabilities, you'd have to purchase the full version. So, this marks the end of our presentation. I now invite you to visit our demo video to see how this wonderful tool works in action.